and welcome back. This is the podcast that must not be named, and I am Melissa.
And I am Luke.
And we are here discussing Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, chapter number 5, Weasley Wizard Wheezes. This chapter was 14 pages long, and it was 1.91% of the book. Hey, Benj, tell us what happened.
Chapter 5. Via Floo Powder, Harry is delivered to the Burrow where he meets the two eldest Weasley brothers, Charlie, who works with dragons in Romania, and Bill, who works in Egypt for Gringotts. Fred and George ask about Dudley eating the toffee and tell Harry it was a special of theirs, Tun Tung Toffee. Mr. Weasley arrives a short time later and admonishes the twins, telling them it had grown to 4 feet long before they would let him set it straight. Mrs. Weasley enters, and before she finds out about the twins' little joke, Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Ginny make a break for the upstairs rooms to avoid the impending eruption. Harry learns about the Weasleys' wizarding wheezes, Fred and George's joke shop idea. In Ron's room, Harry finds the small owl Ron had been gifted by Sirius the year before, answering to the name Pigwidgeon. That evening, Harry, Hermione, and the entire Weasley clan share a dinner in the yard, where they discuss the World Cup, Sirius Black's whereabouts, a missing ministry witch, Bertha Jorkins, and a top-secret event that Percy is hoping to be asked about, just so he can refuse and make himself feel better.
Hey, we met new people.
We did. We actually
really good people.
Introductions and mentions. Who did we meet this chapter, Melissa?
Okay, so I'm going to start with we met Charlie. We've heard from Charlie before, way back in chapter 1, but we actually got to meet Charlie. We also got to meet Bill.
Very, very cool. That was cool when he walks in and they're just there and he's like, "Oh, I know who they are."
Nailed it.
So we also have some mentions. We have a Mr. Crouch. Percy's...
Mr. Crouch. Mr. Crouch. Mr. Crouch. Mr. Crouch. Mr. Crouch says, Mr. Crouch.
Paging Mr. Crouch. We also have a Ludo Bagman, who sounds like a good pal of Mr. Weasley's.
I like the name Ludo.
I do too. It's a good band. If you haven't listened to Ludo, check them out. But it's also a solid name. I like it. And we also have a reference to
Victor Crumb.
Yeah, Seeker for Bulgaria.
That's right.
Very cool. So exciting stuff.
Right.
No new locations.
No, because we were at the Burrow.
Yeah, and we've been to the garden already, and
Ron's room.
Percy's room, I guess.
The door.
Stairwell.
No, we're in the house. We've been there. We've done that.
Yep.
We did get the name of the mysterious candy that appeared in the last chapter, and that was called the Tun Tung Toffee.
It's a good name.
It's a great name, and it is one of the Weasley's Wizard Wheezes.
Another good name.
The new joke shop being developed by the Weasley twins.
Yeah, somewhat unsuccessfully on the order form side of things, at least.
I would say unsuccessful on the oversight department.
They're being a bit stifled.
They are. That's right. Upper management needs to let R&D keep working.
Yeah. We also have a few new Ministry of Magic departments and offices. We have the Department of International Magical Cooperation, the Improper Use of Magic Office, which everyone seems like we may have heard of that. We've heard of the Misuse Spell Task Force, which I think may have been from the Improper Use of Magic Office.
It's possible.
If so, just
in case.
That one. But if we didn't miss it, there it is.
Poof, you forgot.
And poof, we sound brilliant. And we also
Memory charm.
Memory charm. We also have the Department of Magical Games and Sports.
Which one of those 3 departments would you rather work for?
I feel like they could all actually have a lot of potential to be pretty interesting, depending on what part you fall into. It doesn't sound like Percy's part of International Magical Cooperation sounds that interesting, but I think you could probably get some really cool international travel out of it, at least.
That's if you're higher up.
Right. That's why I said depending on where you're at. But improper use of magic seems like there'd be a lot of odd things that you could see. Challenging, which could be rewarding. Magical games and sports just sounds fun and easy. So, I don't know.
I would probably go with the improper use of magic, simply because the other two have absolutely no part of my personality. I mean, let's be honest. Can you really see me working in the sports department?
Yes. Statistician.
Okay, fine. That sounds like fun. Done. I want to be that guy.
There you go.
But there needs to be more games than just Quidditch.
Yeah, I think there are. We've heard of Exploding Snap. It's more of a game.
Wizard chess?
Wizard
Is there
chess.
like the International Wizards Chess Championships
I would
held in
hope so.
Luxembourg?
I mean, clearly Ron needs to start working on it and applying, right?
Well, he hasn't played in a long time.
He has
so-
tried. We checked. He has been trying.
Oh, Ron. Hey, we get one other name.
Yeah.
Magicabulary/name/character/word. And I'm going to say it wrong because I do, but I believe it's Pigwidgeon.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like pigeon, but pig.
It is a weird name.
Yeah.
I'm
This
not a
probably
fan.
could have gone on character introductions, but we've already met the character before, and it just seemed like an interesting word as well, so that's why I lumped it into Magicabulary instead.
All right.
But we do have an illustration in this chapter. We tend to.
And I remembered I even have the book open.
Look at that.
I'm on it.
You are on fire, this book
Book 4 goals illustration.
I like this illustration. This
I do too.
We'll talk about this a little bit more, I think, in a minute, but this is the table battle in the garden with the two older brothers and the burrow in the background.
My only concern is one of them doesn't have long hair.
It's hard to tell if the one in the back maybe has a ponytail going.
It does not
I mean,
look
you
like
can't
it.
really
It looks like
see
it's
it.
kind of shorn off right at his, like,
Okay.
the nape of his neck.
Yeah, I
But
can't
yeah,
really tell.
I loved her. Because how fun does that look?
I know, right?
And that is absolutely something we would do in our family.
Yes.
Without, I mean, there's a lot of things I'm like, no, this we would do. This we
Yes.
would do hardcore table fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
We're all over that in our
Reminds
house.
me of certain water fights growing up.
Started by our mother.
Thanks, Mom.
They're
Really?
the best.
Thanks.
No,
That was
really.
awesome.
They were awesome. It also,
Oh, sorry.
all right. So Luke, why don't you go ahead and jump into some of your notes?
Yeah, so right on continuing our illustration discussion, Bill and Charlie with the tables.
For the win.
If you've been listening to our 5-chapter recaps, we've mentioned this about 3 times, not remembering exactly where it came in. But here it is. We've been waiting for it.
Part.
Say that again, internet chipped out.
I love this part.
It's great sibling stuff, right? I mean, it's really, really well written sibling stuff. Percy being annoyed by it, the older brothers just being like, shut up, Percy. Like, sorry, but get over yourself.
Oh, I really think this chapter, I mean, it's only chapter 5, so we have 32 more to go. But this might, at the moment, it is my front runner for favorite chapter.
Okay.
By far. And there's a lot of good things that happen in this chapter. But one of my favorite things is, and this is just because I am one, you get to see how the oldest sibling interacts with the family.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Bill puts Percy in his place without being a jerk.
Yes.
He's not Fred and George about it. He isn't ignoring him like Charlie, I bet, does. But he's like, okay, Perce. And like with the sarcastic, yeah, okay, like, be quiet, you dumb little brother of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And how he deals with his mom and like, you know what? I don't care if you like it because I got it. Like, I'm good, Mom. It's fine. He's just like the older brother that everybody needs. And you can tell he's the oldest and just not that he's taking care of anybody, but he just has his way of setting the tone.
He's got a confidence to him, and it's just, he doesn't have to prove anything. Like,
No.
one, he's done it. I mean, he was head boy, right? I mean, that's
Right.
pretty impressive.
Right.
A lot of, I don't know, just in-family social cachet because of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like he's already proven he can kind of be the best, you know, at least of his school class. And as the oldest, that really sets the tone. And then he also has this really cool sounding job and doesn't seem to fit Harry's perception of that, which is just, I really, really like Harry's surprise at Bill, right? He expected him to be Percy older because that's all he's ever known. I guess so. I mean, yeah, I would think so. I mean, we never heard much about him other than he was also head boy. And I think JK does a really good job putting us in Harry's perspective of, that's probably what I thought. You know, I probably agreed with Harry, you know, back the first time reading through.
I know I did. Like, I distinctly remember going, wait, how can he be cool? He was head boy.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, but if he's Percy's brother and he was head boy like Percy, it's not like Charlie who played Quidditch like the twins.
Like, he should be cool.
Charlie should be cool, but he doesn't come off as cool. Like,
I don't think he comes off as not cool.
Well, okay, Bill comes off as like
Nonchalant.
Like
cool.
he would walk through a room and people would know. He's got charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie might be a good guy and might do fun things, but he doesn't seem that outgoing and
I don't know. He was the Quidditch captain, though.
I don't know. I don't see it, at least in comparison to Bill.
And how many years are between them? 2 school years?
Not many.
Maybe just one in between them?
Yeah.
Like 3 age years
I
apart?
don't know.
I don't know.
My head.
But so like they would have been around each other. I wonder what.
Right.
I mean, obviously they have a fun relationship now. I wonder if it was always that way, knowing how brothers can be growing up.
All right, somebody send me the fanfic on Bill and Charlie at Hogwarts.
Well, you can play. What's the game?
I can, and I have, and then the iPod I was playing it on crashed, and then I just quit. Hogwarts Mystery.
Yeah.
I know.
Isn't Charlie supposed to be in that game?
Bill's in the game.
Are they both in it?
Yeah, I barely knew Charlie, but by year 3 or 4, I was way good friends with Bill.
Nice.
Yeah,
cool.
I know. It's great.
Gotten past like the first or second round.
I want a fanfic.
Courses. Yeah, I'll read it.
Because my guess would be that the reason they got along so well is because Bill is like the outgoing one, and while Charlie is still like friendly and popular, he doesn't need to be the center of attention, and that's maybe why they get along so well, because they're not conflicting.
They're not competing at all.
Right.
They're cool in different ways. They're cool in different circles.
And they're okay with that.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty...
And they, as opposed to conflict.
Yeah, pretty powerful 1-2 punch of Weasley brothers during their time there.
And then they are followed by Percy.
Yeah, he was highly successful.
Anybody else? Anybody else? So, and I don't know if the first time I read it, I did this, or if it was like as I've gone on, but a lot of the time when I read about his cauldron bottoms, I start singing Fat Bottom Girls.
Yes, cauldron bottom girls. Absolutely.
Every single time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that, I can't help it.
I feel like that might be a Wizard Rock group.
Oh, I feel like you need to look that up.
I am right now.
Excellent.
Wow, it sure isn't. All right, well, I'll make that part of my rock album coming out somewhat soon. And for more on that, check out Hogwarts Radio Podcast, where I do Wizard Rock album reviews, because I've never listened to it before.
And follow his Wizard Rock list on Spotify. We listen to it all the time in my car and sing along. We're big fans of Draco and the Malfoys. They tend to be our favorite.
They are easily tied in first for me. I'm going to pull it up real quick because I can't remember exactly who. Oh no. Let's log in. Oh no. Why is it?
Oh no.
Let me see if I can get in my phone quicker. Apparently it's logged out on this computer. But yeah, the Hogwarts Radio W Rock playlist. We'll post the link here shortly as well. So I've listened to Draco and the Malfoys, which has been pretty awesome. Oliver Boyd and the Remember-Alls. It was just short. 3 of the songs were basically just different versions of the same song. End of an Era. Pretty darn good song. Oh, and then the last album that I listened to was a 2018 Wizard Rock sampler. So all songs that have come out in the last 12 months. It just came out at the beginning of September, so it's brand new. And there was a song on there by a band called the Arcadian, called Dementor's Kiss, which is awesome.
Okay.
Loved that song.
But nobody's singing about cauldron bottoms.
I haven't seen it, and nothing showed up on Google. So, yeah, I'm still working on what my Wizard Rock band name is going to be. I've already got a short EP in the works. I can't talk about it yet on this podcast.
However... We're going to get like an exclusive second listen, right?
Oh, yeah. We might debut it here first. We'll see.
Awesome. We wait for a 5-chap recap. That's going to be perfect there.
Yeah.
Here we go. Next thoughts. Are you ready?
Yes.
So Percy, Ron, and Bill are tallish and lanky. Charlie and then the twins are shorter and stockier. 3 and 3, right? What about Ginny? Where'd she fall?
I would say the shorter and not stockier, but strong-shouldered. You know what I mean? But not like stout. You know what I mean? I don't.
Well, no, but I mean definitely like a bigger, broader shoulder.
Broader shoulders.
Okay.
Because I feel like she's not real tall. I just don't feel like she is. Maybe that's just the little sister. She's younger, kind of thing. But we never get like a gangly or tall kind of description of her. So I feel like she might be, a little shorter than the twins, who are supposed to be shorter than, more like
Right.
Charlie, and a little bit broader shoulders. But yeah, that's what I would imagine at least.
Okay.
Because I feel like it would be talked about if she was tall and lanky like Ron is.
Okay. I don't know. We just don't get much of her. It always
agree.
bothers me.
I have a question about that later.
Awesome. Let's talk about Molly and the twins.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So I'm going to start by saying one of my favorite lines in this chapter is when Arthur is yelling at the twins and says, "You wait until I tell your mother." "Tell me what?" said a voice from behind them. And it doesn't even say it, but the look on Arthur's face is like, that was not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to tell her. That was just the threat of telling her, because it's going to be so much worse if she knows, and now she has to know. And do you not picture our mom and dad? I mean, the exact same thing. Dad saying, "Wait till I tell your mom," and mom finding out, and dad going, no, that's not what I wanted at all. No, don't tell mom. And then he's in trouble for not having told her.
Right.
And
then
you're in trouble.
Dialogue about it.
In that moment, the Weasley twins were the epitome of our parents.
The Weasley parents were
The Weasley parents, yes, sorry.
And the twins were like any of us.
Any combination of us,
Usually
especially when they were
Matthew.
trying to sneak out.
Yeah.
That would be Matthew.
Yeah.
"Let's go up to your room." "Okay." Twins say, "We're coming too."
Right.
No.
You're going to stay right here.
Molly does not put up with a lot. She's a tough cookie.
No idle threats with her. It's if you're in trouble, you're in trouble. Like,
Yes.
that's it.
Yes.
Where Arthur seems to have a little bit more leniency. He knows what the threat of Molly finding out would do to the twins. Like, that would be enough to at least make them think about it. I'm not saying it would prevent them from doing it again, but we know Arthur's kind of got a silly side to him anyway, so I don't think he's all that.
Well, it's a lot
flustered
like
about
in
it.
book 2, when he found out they flew the car and his first response was, "How to go?"
Right.
Not, "I can't believe you did that," but like, "Ooh, cool, tell me about it." Yeah, no.
Yeah, really it's his mistake, because I think the fact that he, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically couched his parental authority in Molly's authority undermines his parenting credibility, right? If he
Yes.
just would have doubled down on, hey, this undermines all of the wizard muggle relations that he specifically works for, and
Right.
just made it a point that, hey, this bothers me and I'm not okay with this. You're not going to be in trouble, but this is a big deal. Don't bring the wife into it. Like, he could have handled the situation himself, but he chose not to, right?
Don't send the kid to the principal's office if you can handle it yourself, teacher.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it needs to go, but sometimes it's a lot worse to be the teacher. Like, it's better to have that kind of authority, and then you have that relationship and can say, "I will help you out," or rather than deferring to.
Yeah, I feel like Arthur, it creates a kind of a funny situation for the twins here.
Yes.
Narratively, it's good, but in actual parenting wise, like, stick up for yourself, man. Like, it bothered you. Let them know that. You
Right.
are good enough to have your word be final.
Although, given the dynamic of the Weasley twins and the Weasley parents, I could totally see pulling in the other guy sometimes.
Sure, sometimes.
Right. And this one, because he was that mad, he was pulling in the other parent. So I don't disagree with you. I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt that it was that bad that I'm going to threaten your mom.
Mm-hmm. Threaten your mom. Threaten you with
Threaten
mom.
you with mom,
Yeah.
not threaten your mom. That's a different kind of story. We're not
I think
reading
it just
that kind
comes
of
down to don't make idle threats. Like, just don't lie.
Although let's talk about how their actions did or did not threaten wizard-muggle relations.
I have a question on that.
Never mind. Okay, then I'm done.
So my last note here is kind of similar to what we were talking about earlier, but like Charlie talking about Quidditch and Molly fussing over Bill. Again, it's just the family dynamics in this chapter are really good. We know Charlie's going to care about the Quidditch a lot. He's someone that follows it. He's someone that's going to be talking about it. I don't think that's like cheesy for him to be the one sitting there talking about it with the twins, right?
No, not at all, because it's his thing.
Right.
It's
That's
his
his
gig.
thing. And it just felt natural in that family sitting down. Like, these are the things that they're going to talk about.
Yes.
And I think right along with that, Bill, kind of like we talked about earlier, is probably really good at just about anything he wants to be, and is probably Molly's favorite just by nature of being really, really good growing up and
the
firstborn
first
son. And like, I feel like there's potentially some kind of, mother-son connection there. And it just felt so well written from a mother's perspective of, oh, if you just cut your hair, you'd look so much nicer. And he's like, no one gives a damn what I dress like. Like, it's fine. And I was just well written. I liked it throughout.
I agree.
Chapter.
I also really liked Ginny and Bill's relationship. You didn't see much of it, but just enough for her to, you could tell that she loves her big brother.
Mm-hmm.
He likes her back. Like, it was definitely a good fit between those two. No matter how many years there are difference, you can tell she idolizes her big brother.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that entirely.
Hey there, I think you've got some questions for the listenership, also me.
Okay, I sure do. And I'm going to set them on fire. Ready for question 1?
Yes.
How cool is Bill, really?
So, he's not afraid to be a curse breaker in ancient tombs in Egypt.
Pretty cool.
He has long hair and a dragon fang earring.
Very 90s cool.
Yeah. He's very, he carries himself with a lot of charisma. I would say on a scale of 1 to 100, he's like a 92.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Because he was head boy. So yes, that's cool, but it's nerd cool. So you can't be 100% cool for that. And he wasn't necessarily a Quidditch captain. So, he could have gotten extra points there.
Sure.
But it's definitely an A.
Well, because we know we didn't play Quidditch. We know that because of information we've backtracked through before. But, because we know that Charlie he started on a very young team.
Yes.
That's what we know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just questioning it because we have it from Harry's perspective, which, how reliable is he on what is actually cool? I don't know. It's just...
Well, I see your point. Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm not really arguing with it. I think it's funny to kind of question that because he's so taken aback and it makes sense. But is he really cool? I think so.
I wonder how Harry would classify somebody who was cool at Hogwarts.
Yeah, we don't really hear much about popularity, honestly.
No.
Harry's very much seemed to have been kind of in his own little niche group, right? With other people around him either hating him or loving him on and off, the fickle Hogwarts student body. Because
he has his own level of, I'm going to use the word popularity, maybe he has his own little level of notoriety.
Notoriety is the
that
word.
Your typical middle school, high school popularity
gauge
spectrum doesn't apply to him. He's outside that spectrum because he doesn't fit because of his Al Capone-like notoriety.
Yeah, no, that's, I think, part of what I was not realizing as I was trying to get to is because what examples of cool does he really have? It also makes me think, what if Bill wasn't there? Would he think Charlie was really cool? Because it seems like that'd be someone that Harry would idolize quite a bit, right? He would want to hang out with Charlie and be like, let's talk about Quidditch. I want to learn from you.
And Charlie's helped him out before.
Right. It seems like he doesn't think about Charlie as much as I would anticipate.
So you're needing a little Charlie love.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like he's been a little left out.
Oh, poor Charlie. Okay.
Question 2. Do you think the twins' behavior actually undermines wizard-muggle relations?
Behavior overall or behavior because of the toffee?
This incident.
No, definitively.
Okay.
They even explain it. We didn't give it to him because he's a muggle, said Fred indignantly. No, we gave it to him because he's a great bully and git, said George. And I think that right there, they would not have done it if Harry got along with his cousin. They would not have done it if Harry's aunt and uncle were good people. They did it because they're terrible, horrible, no good, very bad people who deserve bad things.
I know what you're saying, and it's a good point.
Oh, you're going to disagree with me, aren't you?
I kind of have to, because the perception from the Muggle side has to be taken into account as well. We already know
they're not Muggles, they're Dursleys.
Well,
I'm saying if it was an unsuspecting Muggle walking down the street, they would never have just dropped it for fun.
They never would have done that, absolutely. But the animosity that the Dursleys already have, why would you add more fuel to that fire?
How could it be worse? It can't be worse. It's already the worst it could ever get. What else could they do?
Not take Harry back, which would also be a positive.
This is my point.
It just, like, why?
It does nothing. It doesn't help the relationship.
And that's the problem.
But it's a horrible relationship in the first place, so it doesn't make it any worse either.
Well, yeah, but Arthur takes the position that, hey, all I can do is try to have them have some good interactions with wizards, and then this happens, because it's been bad interactions over and over again. With Hagrid was bad. With Marge and Harry, it was bad. I mean, just over and over. Dobby, every interaction they've had has been really negative that we've seen. And a lot of it gets pinned on Harry, but that, in their minds, abnormality has only caused them grief over and over. And again, I'm not on their side, but I'm saying from Arthur's perspective, I think he makes a pretty good point that this is very much against what Arthur stands for and what he is trying to teach his sons to do, regardless of their actual intentions. It's not a good thing to do. Question 3.
Fair.
I think we both made good points. Do the twins really have no ambition, like Molly says?
I believe the twins have no ambition to something that Molly would approve of. I think the way they picture their life is not a way a mother would want for her kid in the mother's eye. I'm not saying all mothers, but that mother, not that she wants all of her boys to go be dragon wranglers or curse breakers, but she wants them all to be successful and do important work. That would be my guess.
Do you think that comes from a certain insecurity that she has at all? Like, why would she care so much?
Do you think it's coming from, like, how they're always called poor and they always don't have any money, so she wants them to be well off?
A family infamy, for lack of a better term. Yeah, or lack of respect, or something that she's trying to subconsciously instill that against
because
them?
What they want to do, like, they have a plan.
They're trying.
But I can agree with her. They're 16 years old. You know what I mean? They're 6 years. What do you know about running a joke shop? What do you know about what you're going to be as an adult? Why aren't you working as hard as you can in school rather than wasting your time on this thing that you know nothing about? And then if you do well in school, that'll set you up for anything as opposed to throwing all your eggs in this one basket.
Oh, that is terrible mentorship for entrepreneurs. Terrible.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not agreeing with her. I'm just saying that's probably her point of view. Now, I personally think they have more ambition than most kids because they have a business plan.
I feel like she's really missing the point. Like, she's only seeing, I guess, the negative side of it, the part that she is stressed by, and doesn't see the fact that they are trying to create. They're trying to do it like kind of a legitimate way. You know, they're trying to learn the organization by doing it, and she's completely ignoring that and actually stifling them pretty hardcore.
True.
And it really feels to me if, like, kind of the classic, oh, my son's in a rock group. Get a real job, you hippie. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
my daughter wants to be an actress.
Go ahead and stifle her. Go for it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, just a little support would go a long way. Encourage them in the more business side of it. And
that could apply to any business.
Exactly. And she's taking that part away by destroying the order forms. Like, that's the one thing that they could actually turn into something useful. Right. That's my problem with it, I think, is fine, like, be against the jokes and the fake wands. Like, that could be frustrating. I get that.
Yes.
But you're turning down the business learning opportunity? Come on. All right. Question 4. In your opinion, how important is standardizing cauldron bottom thickness?
I really believe that having a standardized set of regulations for all matter of imports and exports can be beneficial to the global economy, also known as I couldn't care less.
I feel like we found your new soapbox.
Cauldron bottom thickness?
Just standardization.
Standardization. Well, here's what's funny. I draw the line at cauldron bottoms.
Okay, let them vary from here until
because that's good capitalism.
Well, except, like Percy says, there have been leaks, increasing 3% every year.
But if you have cauldrons that leak, then people will stop buying that particular product and that company goes out of business because they're making bad cauldrons. Capitalism.
Yeah, I agree. Too much regulation in the ministry is what I'm hearing.
Not enough at Hogwarts.
Gotta find a balance somewhere.
Right.
Question 5. why don't the trio, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, let Ginny know about Sirius?
I don't know.
She's been through some stuff, right?
She's been through some stuff, and apparently Ginny is her friend, although nobody else. How come Ron gets to invite 2 friends and Ginny gets nobody and the twins get nobody and they all get nobody? Why? Anyway, beside the point. But if Ginny's friend is Hermione, then yeah, she should be included. That's all. Rant over.
Completely agree.
And now, on to the chapter superlatives. Luke, what was your favorite line?
However, Bill there was no other word for it, cool.
Good call.
Yeah, it's just, that line has always stuck with me because it was surprising, and it's one, it's surprising, what does Harry know about being cool? And 2, that's just not the preconceived notion you have about what a former head boy would be, and someone that works at the bank. I don't know if we knew that he was a curse breaker before now. Maybe that was
because they visited him in Egypt.
Yeah, so, but either way, it's you don't really dwell on it, which seems like a really badass job, right? I mean, for lack of a better term, it seems
pretty awesome.
That's a pretty cool job. So I really, really like that line. What was your favorite line?
That was a sample of fertilizer from Norway, said Percy, going very red in the face. It was nothing personal. It was, Fred whispered to Harry as they got up from the table. We sent it.
That's hilarious. I love that one.
I love Fred. I love George. I love the twins. They would probably drive me crazy if I was around them in real life. Let's be honest. They'd probably drive me crazy. Even as a kid, those kinds of kids, I just never understood it. But reading about them and looking back, so funny.
Yeah. So we're going to do a little something special this time, I think.
All right. So, Luke, who was your chapter MVP?
I am going to give it to 2 characters. 2 that we actually met, Bill and Charlie. I think they both fit the family dynamic that you would kind of expect really, really, really well. And the table fight was awesome. If I had a favorite thing, the table fight would be it.
Yes.
And it's not there's no great line in it, but that's why I kind of think those 2, they carry the older brother banner really, really well. And they fit the family without being part of the mold. They're each an individual person within the dynamic of a family. Yeah, I really, really like the way that they were introduced. I kind of wish we got a little bit more from Charlie with Harry one-on-one kind of thing, because I feel like that would be just the natural conversation that Harry would gravitate to right away. Right. But really, really good chapter, and I liked their introductions. All right. My honorable mention also goes to a duo, Fred and George, for just making me laugh again. Yeah. So is this the first time we've got 4? Yes, definitely. All right. Told you it might be my favorite chapter. That's a good one. Really think good. And now we're out. This wraps up chapter 5. We are now 5/37ths of the way through book 4, plugging along at a rapid pace. You can tweet at us at Not Named Podcast. You can email us at thepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us and all of our plethora of the Podcast That family at thepodcastthat.com, where we have this episode and all of the episodes of all of our shows available online for you, along with our Support Us page. Today's Support Us page is brought to you by Audible, where you can get a free audiobook just by signing up for a subscription. You get the first month free. And if you sign up through our Audible link on our Subscribe Me page, then we get a nice little kickback, and that helps support the show while you do what you love, reading books. Another thing to check out at thepodcastthat.com is the newly created vodcast that rolls, plays, and games. We have a few different video games going on right now, live streaming on twitch.tv/rollsplaysgames. Check that out. It's been a lot of fun. Come and hang out and play some games. Please do subscribe, like, rate, leave comments on iTunes and YouTube. People want to know about the show, and you can help us tell them. Join us next week for our 5-chap recap. Ooh, and special guests joining us for the unrestricted section, so stay tuned and find out more next week. Until then, stay imaginary. Thanks.